Raw. Next question. This is 9K and counting. Welcome to 9K and counting. Today is March 29th, 2025, and this is day 9013 of my life. Fun fact, 13 is my favorite number, and it's been the number I've always worn for sports. My name is JP, short for Juiced Peppers. Today, you might get a little mad at me. We're doing a tier list, where I'll be ranking a bunch of vegetables and how much I like to eat them. Just for some clarification, this is only going to be vegetables when they're uncooked. Basically, how good is a vegetable to me, uncooked and in some kind of meal? I guess salad is fair game for this, but you can't cook it. You can't heat up the vegetable in any sense. Before we get started, let's talk about what each tier means. F tier is going to be trash, garbage, I don't even want that near me. D tier is going to be, I'm forced to eat it and I will. C tier is, I'm not going to seek it out. Maybe I'll have it if it's around, but it's probably going to be my last choice. B tier, I think, is I would eat it, but I'm never going to go and buy it myself. A tier, obviously, it's going to be something that I buy from time to time and I eat and enjoy myself. And S tier is going to be like, that's my first option. I go to the store, I need a vegetable. First thing I'm going to get is S tier. Without further ado, let's get right into the tier list. Number 1, mushrooms. Mushrooms, I think, are one of those that I don't really like raw. I much prefer them cooked in a dish, like in some lasagna, on a pizza, you know. I'm not a huge mushroom guy. Even like mushroom soup, any kind of like stew or soup mushrooms are good in. I don't love them raw. I'm gonna put them in C tier, I think. Like if I had to eat them, I would, but other than that, I'm not gonna seek out some raw mushrooms. Moving on to tomato. Now, people might dislike me for this. I'm not a huge tomato guy, especially when it's raw. I like a little cherry tomato here and there, especially when they're super, super fresh, but I'm not just gonna like slice up a tomato and put it in a sandwich. Even in like cooked stuff like burgers, I'm not a huge fan of like raw tomato on it. So I think I'd also put this in like the C tier. Now, you may be asking, what qualifications do you have, JP? When I was in high school, I actually worked at a summer market selling fresh fruit and vegetables, and I worked there for like 5 years. So I know what I'm talking about when it comes to fresh fruit and vegetables, okay? Next up, one that you wouldn't really see cooked that often, but we're going to go with the radish. I think it's kind of like a complimentary role. I'm not just going to be eating like a bag of radishes over and over. They are good in salad. I think just because of that, I can't put it above a C because it's not going to be something that I eat on its own. But it is good, and some radishes can be a little spicy, you know? They're pretty good. I'll put a radish in C tier as well. Moving on to the onion. Obviously, probably one of the best vegetables when you're cooking with it, but raw, I mean, you could have it in like a salad or something, in a Caesar salad. It's not really good. Although I have seen on multiple occasions, some of my friends, you know who you are, will just eat a whole onion like raw. They'll just eat it like an apple. I don't even understand, how do you do that? So if you're one of those people, I'm sure you'll have it higher on the tier list. But raw onion in this, I'm going to have to put it at like a D. There's a couple uses, but I'm not going to buy a raw onion. If someone's like, bring some raw veggies, I'm not going to show up with a cut up onion. Moving on to another vegetable that does not do well raw, the potato. I feel it's pretty self-explanatory. I don't think I've ever eaten a potato raw, although you can, and it's fine. It's just super starchy. I'm gonna put this in F. There's no reason to eat a potato raw. And another one that's gonna go in F is the next one, garlic. I don't even know why it's on my list. The only thing is like eat it if there's a vampire nearby. But if you're someone that just often eats garlic raw, seek help, I guess. I don't know. Moving on to some vegetables that I might actually consume uncooked. The cauliflower. This one's okay. I think I'm just a cauliflower hater. I don't really like it raw or cooked. I think I like it a little bit more raw, I think. So I will put this in C tier. It's okay. Cauliflower's all right. Now here's a heavy hitter. The cucumber. You guys may call me a baby, but I think the best way to eat a cucumber, if it isn't like a farm fresh, like mini cucumber, you gotta peel that. I know you may call me a baby, but I think a fully peeled, like long English cucumber, just chopped up and eaten like a baby, is one of life's probably greatest pleasures. I don't care if it's wasteful. Put the peels in like tzatziki sauce, you know, cut up, put it in tzatziki. I don't care. Give me a fully peeled cucumber. Put that in A tier, okay? Next up, lettuce. I think this is a fairly obvious right to S tier for raw vegetables. Who doesn't love a garden salad? Lettuce, I feel, is just a Hall of Fame level athlete in the raw vegetable space, so we got to put it in S tier. It knows what it's good for, and it's great at it, so we'll put lettuce in S tier. Moving on to celery. I may piss some people off about this one. I'm not a huge celery guy. I don't like the strings that get stuck in your teeth, and sure, you could have it with like Cheese Whiz or peanut butter and little raisins on it, but and I know I just said I'm a baby for eating a cucumber peeled, but look, if you're putting Cheese Whiz in your celery and you can legally drink, reconsider what you're doing, you know? Celery, I'll put in B tier. You know, I like it sometimes, but sometimes it just like makes your mouth feel weird if you eat too much celery. Is that just me? So I'll put celery in B tier. Now we have peas. I'm considering like snap peas and snow peas for these. I think I like peas more when they're super, super fresh. Not really cooked. I don't like mushy canned peas, you know? So I do like peas. I think they do have to be really fresh for me to enjoy them, but I'll put them in B tier. They're good. They're good in the summer for sure. Another member of the cauliflower family, we have broccoli. I'm not a huge fan of broccoli, and I think I'm even less of a fan when it's raw. It's just like chewing through, it really is just chewing through like grass and plants, which I mean, obviously I am, but you know what I mean. It doesn't really have much of a redeeming taste to it. I'd probably put broccoli in like low C, maybe high D tier. I'm not a huge fan. Now here is another heavy hitter with carrots. I think this is probably one of everyone's go-to snacks, you know, baby carrots, chopped up carrots, however you want to do it. Look, I think I know what's coming, and I think there is going to be another S tier here. I'm going to put carrots in A tier. It's not my favorite snack. Carrots are a steady, consistent, good A tier for sure. Now we have corn, and you may be like, JP, why are you talking about corn if it's raw? Hear me out. Working at the summer market, there is nothing better than getting a bunch of corn right from the fields. You crack one open, and you just eat it raw. It's so sweet and juicy. I think corn is an underrated raw vegetable that you can have as a snack. Obviously, I know it's not like something you could have all the time, and you don't really want to just get corn from the supermarket and eat it raw, but I'll put it in like a low B. It's really tasty. Moving on to beans, I think this is quick. I'm never really going to just eat a raw beans. I'm not talking about like beans in a can. I'm talking about actually string beans and things like that. I'll put this in like D tier. Then we have spinach, lettuce's little bro, and for good reason. I mean, it's good in smoothies. It's good with lettuce, but I'm not really having spinach. And if I do, I'm probably cooking it with some pasta, but I'm not going to eat it raw. I don't really love the taste. It's high in iron, obviously. I'm going to put spinach at C tier. Moving on to cabbage, one of our last ones here. Have it in have it in some coleslaw. Have it on a sandwich with some, as like a slaw, have some shredded cabbage in your salad. I think it's underrated. I think it's better than spinach. Obviously, the smell is a little meh for a lot of people, but I mess with cabbage probably more than most, so I'm going to put this in a B tier. And last but certainly not least, the humble bell pepper. My favorite snack as a vegetable raw. You cut like 2 bell peppers up into little slices. That shit is gone in 10 minutes max. I'm crushing these bell peppers. It's my favorite. It's the first thing I go look at when I go into the vegetable section at a grocery store. Put this at the top of S tier, number 1 vegetable. Argue with me if you dare. And that's going to do it for my tier list of raw veggies. You can see it on the screen here, I'm sure. If there's anything I got wrong, obviously yell at me in the comments. But I think I did a pretty good job, okay? Just a reminder to check out the email in my bio here on TikTok and on YouTube. It's 9kandcounting@gmail.com. If you want to send any videos or any funny ideas for episodes or ideas for tier lists, send them my way in that email, and keep sending things you want me to see there. As always, let's end this episode with a quote from a book that I'm reading. This one will be from the book Darkness at Noon by the author Arthur Koestler. Honor is decency without vanity. Here's to getting another day older. See ya!